This episode is sponsored by Law Tiger San Diego. If you or a loved one is injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS for a free case evaluation.
Hello, and welcome to The Scenic Ride, a motorcycle podcast where we explore the most epic roads in North America and beyond. I'm Davin.
I'm Sanna.
And I'm Staci.
Today, we are going to explore the Beartooth Highway, one of my personal favorite motorcycle roads in the country. If you've never ridden this area, today's podcast will give you some insight on the route, plus some insider tips on things to see, eat, and to do in the area. Beartooth Highway is another all-American road, which we've talked about before on this podcast. It's a 68-mile section of U.S. Highway 212 that runs between Red Lodge, Montana, and the northeast entrance of Yellowstone National Park. It traces a series of steep zigzags and switchbacks along the Montana-Wyoming border, all the way up to the 10,947-foot high Beartooth Pass in Wyoming. With roughly 5,200 feet of elevation gain in 12 miles, it's a pretty steep climb. So use caution if elevation sickness is an issue for you. Not for me. I'm not a sea-level sissy like Sanna is.
It'll do.
Anyways, the highway officially opened in June 14th, 1936. The main reason they built it was to get easier access to Yellowstone Park from the Red Lodge area. You know, even today, if you wanted to go to the park from Red Lodge, you'd either have to go around up on top to the north or way down south around to Cody, so it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to get to if this road wasn't there. The highway is only open for 5 months of the year, usually from late May to mid-October, so plan accordingly. What month did you ladies ride it when you guys did it?
I've ridden it in late July, early August. I've also ridden it in early September. And I think that's it. I'm trying to think. I'm like, did it snow on me? No.
Right, you never know. It's up there. It can be beautiful in Red Lodge and absolutely awful up on top.
I've only ridden it once, but not for lack of trying. I did go up there once in late September, and the day before I got there, it closed for the season because of a early season big snowstorm. So I had to take the the Cody route into Yellowstone instead. But I have ridden it in early July, and that was also we were chased by a storm going up the mountain, so almost didn't do it just because of the weather. But even in early July, it was pretty intense weather-wise.
Yeah, it can be super gnarly. As we've mentioned before on this podcast, always check the weather. At that elevation and latitude, it can change in a hurry. You know, it's at the 45th parallel, so you're halfway between the equator and North Pole. So you never know what you're going to get, especially at 12,000 feet or whatever it is, 11,000 feet. It can be beautiful in Red Lodge and freezing cold up on top. So just be prepared. Plan accordingly. Bring your windbreaker and your rain gear. If you're doing the whole route from Red Lodge to Cook City, probably give yourself 2 or 3 hours. There's a lot of places to stop and look at things. There's lookouts along the way. There's a few little stores. Actually, there's one little store.
The top of the world.
Top of the world. It's a good spot to stop and, have a snack, have a wee, and have a bevy.
It's also the only spot you can get gas out there after you leave Cook City. So if you're one of those that maybe you're on a chopper or something with a 2-gallon tank, that's your spot.
Yeah. Or if you're like me, it's only 68 miles. I can make it on a third of a tank. Yeah,
exactly.
Just fill up. Depending on your route, and if you don't need to go to Cook City or have no interest in going to Cook City, which, there's not a lot there, but if you're not planning on going into Yellowstone from that entrance, you can take Chief Joseph Highway, which I personally, anytime somebody says Beartooth Pass, I'm like, yeah, but what about Chief Joseph Highway? Have you done that? Have you done Dead Indian Pass? Because that is probably my favorite part of that whole area is, you go up Beartooth Pass, and it's beautiful, and you stop and you got to watch out for RVs and all that kind of stuff coming up. And then you get to Chief Joseph and you can basically just haul balls through there, and it's quite fun. Have you guys done Chief Joseph?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
I am in full agreement with you on how great Chief Joseph Highway is. And I think being able to do kind of a 1-2 combo is chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and either way you do it, like if you come up Chief Joseph or you go down Chief Joseph, it's awesome. So
They're both incredible. I would, not to go on a tangent already, but I would say I think I like riding it from Cody to Red Lodge to connect to the Beartooth Highway. So I like going south to north. And then it's the same way for the Beartooth Highway. I like going into Red Lodge on the Beartooth Highway. But that little section from Cook City to where it connects with the Chief Joseph Highway, that's a good stretch too. So it's always one of those where when I'm in that area, I'm like, how do I do it both ways? And I always try to find a way to go over into Red Lodge and then to come back to Cody at minimum.
exactly. What about you, Sanna? Have you done that, Chief Joseph?
I have not. Like I said, I know. Well, I have barely even made it up the Beartooth Pass because, again, not for lack of trying, because, when I got there and it was snowed in and I couldn't go, I had to like completely reroute my way home because I was going back to California from North Dakota. And that was, like you said, that's a long detour to go. If you can't take Beartooth Pass, you have to like go around to get through Yellowstone and then get, to the southwestern side of the park. And I ended up going to Cody, staying the night there, and then taking the road into Yellowstone from Cody, which it's not Chief Joseph Highway. It's not as twisty and technical. It is an amazing road. Like that road is insanely beautiful. And we should at some point talk about that too. So
yes,
I have not done Chief Joseph Highway yet. I've only done Beartooth Pass once, but I've done a lot of beautiful riding in that area because there's so many good roads.
Yeah, it's never ending.
Yeah.
I think if you do make it out there again, or when you do make it out there again, Staci's right. Go up Chief Joseph from Cody because just the way the curves are and the way you climb up that Dead Indian Pass, it is a racetrack. And I know I get all excited about racetracks and going fast on all these episodes, but that's like, to me, that's the fun part. I like to look at things, but I also like to, ride my adventure bike like a sport bike. So going up Chief Joseph and hitting those curves. And most of the time, like I'll stop at the top and go back down and come back up again just because it's that fun. And cruising up through there. The last time I did it last year when I was making my way across the country in my truck and trailer, I camped in Red Lodge and went up from there down Chief Joseph and then back up and down to hit it all again just because I wanted to do it both ways. And it's just that much fun. And it was a beautiful day because the handful of times I've done it, I think 2 or 3 times it's been a cold, windy, miserable nightmare up top. And that one, I thought a couple times before, it's just been absolutely clear and perfect. So I think last year was actually the best overall ever because even there, like you can get caught in a little bit of a rainstorm, in the 2-3 hours it takes to do that. But I think this was the clearest one I did was that one I did last summer. It was beautiful.
I love that for you. The last time I rode the Beartooth Highway was 2 years ago, and I've ridden it probably 5 or 6 times now, which I feel so spoiled being able to even say that. But the last time I rode it was the worst weather I had, and it was on the way to Sturgis. I've always lucked out. It's always been beautiful blue skies, and it's been so pretty. And this time on the way to Sturgis, I decided to take the scenic route and go that direction up through Red Lodge. And I hit the gnarliest rainstorm. You could see it coming because that area still gets those crazy monsoons in the afternoon. I could see the storm coming and I was like, I might be able to race this over the pass. I'm not sure. So I used Beartooth Pass as my personal racetrack. And I was almost into Red Lodge and it just started pelting hail on me, lightning everywhere. And I'm on the side of the road. I've got GoPro footage of this somewhere. And me and this other guy who's like, I watch your YouTube channel. I'm going to follow you into Beartooth. And I'm like, okay, cool. I pull over and I'll be like, hide behind your bike, man. I don't know what to tell you because the weather was so gnarly. But I told him, like, we're screaming at each other. And I'm like, aren't you glad we're not up top and we're a little further down? Meanwhile, we're like about to get struck by lightning.
Yeah. It's so funny. my buddy and I, Scott, who I used to work with, we got caught in the Black Hills one time in one of those, like, typical Sturgis hailstorms. And there must have been 300 people around us, and him and I were the only two with helmets on. And it came down, dude, it started fucking hailing. And it was so funny because him and I were just like, okay. And we stopped, and everyone else was just like pure chaos, trying not to get destroyed by this hail. It was quite funny. But yeah, there's definitely weather cells cruising through there at a pretty good clip. So when you see them, you might not be able to beat them.
Yeah, take them seriously. For if you think you might get rained on, just take it as a bet that you probably are.
Yeah,
And don't be at the top of the pass because it might snow. It might just leave golf ball sized hail and you can't even ride down because it's so messed up. So
I mean, that is really good advice that I completely did not follow when I rode Beartooth Pass, because actually, let me tell you about the day I had when I finally made it to Beartooth Pass. My friend Katie and I were riding from San Diego to Canada and back, and we were just crushing miles. We did not have time to do like a bunch of loop-de-loops around the pretty roads. Like, we were just like riding as far as we could every day. And we stayed in Idaho, on the Idaho side that morning in Driggs, which is kind of across Teton Pass from Jackson. So we started in Driggs, rode the Teton Pass, which was also a really beautiful pass. But this was in 2024, right when they had that big landslide that took out a big section of the road. And so when we got there, they had just like a month before there was a big landslide. They had just rebuilt the road, or a section of the road. Somehow in 1 month, they got it back together. But there was a bunch of traffic. We rode into Jackson. We did Grand Teton National Park. Then we did Yellowstone. This is all in the same day. And this was like...
That's a day.
And this was July 2nd. So it was basically 4th of July weekend. Yellowstone was packed. Like, it took so long to get through Yellowstone because it's a massive park. And, we're trying to get out we came in from the southern side and had to go out through the northeastern side.
That's impressive. Those are impressive miles at that time of year.
Yeah, we haven't even made it to Beartooth Pass yet, right? So we are in Yellowstone. There is a storm coming in. Like, you can see it in the sky. We have no cell phone service whatsoever because we're in a massive remote national park. So we talked to the ranger, and she's showing like weather happening in the mountains. And we're like, we probably shouldn't do it. We probably shouldn't do Beartooth Pass. It's going to be a really bad idea. But then we're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to put on rain gear and just do it. And it's like 6 p.m. at this point too. So the sun's about to set. We're probably getting rained on.
One bad decision after another. Let's do it.
Yes, absolutely. And then we did it, and it was epic. Like, because we were going out there, there were no other vehicles. Like, we saw maybe one car the entire way through the pass that we just passed, And the sun was kind of setting. It was golden hour, like right when we're up at the top. We did not stop once. So I have no photos from Beartooth Pass whatsoever. We just ripped through the whole thing like a racetrack. But the views with like golden hour and the clouds, because it was like, we did not get rained on, but it was cloudy. It was very like ominous looking on the horizon that day. But just coming down on the other side, the most beautiful views you've ever seen. Like, this is literally one of the most beautiful roads I've ever ridden. And doing it when it's completely empty, I mean, very cold. It was probably 39 degrees at the top. And then by the time we made it down on the other side, it was just about to start raining. But we did not get rained on this entire time. And it was
awesome.
So amazing. But one of the longest days of riding of my entire life. We were pretty pooped when we made it to Red Lodge.
That's an insane ride. That man, Tetons, Yellowstone, and Beartooth in the same day is a power move.
Intense. That's crazy.
That's way too much.
It is. Yeah, I could do without Yellowstone in the middle. Good Lord.
But also, Yellowstone is so beautiful, and especially that northeastern part that takes you like out of the park. That is my favorite part of Yellowstone. And so, but yeah, we probably should have started in Yellowstone and not done Teton Pass and Grand Teton National Park and Jackson.
God, that's good stuff.
It's a pretty epic day. It's very long.
Yeah. And the ending in Red Lodge is a great idea too. That way you can get food and drinks and buy your stickers and stuff. So
Yeah.
why don't we break it down like that? Let's start in Red Lodge and talk about our favorite spots there, and then go up the pass, and then we'll cruise over to Chief Joseph and talk about that some more.
I think that's perfect.
Okay, let's go. Red Lodge, Montana, you guys. It's a great little town. A few different ways to get there. If you want to end there, if you want to start there, that's up to you. I think Sanna's way of ending there is a great way to do it because you get, it's a real town with gas stations and restaurants and ice cream and stuff to look at. But if you're coming from the north somewhere, northwest specifically, I think there's a Highway 78 that comes off of the 90 or 80. What's up there? 90, the freeway. That kind of curves up through the farmlands to the northwest of Red Lodge. Is a fun little rip too. So keep that in your back pocket if you're cruising through there. But so like I said, Red Lodge has a lot of good restaurants, stores. My favorite place to grab food, snacks, stickers, plenty of fuel stations, gift stores, that whole deal. I really like the Prerogative Kitchen in Red Lodge. They've got a lot of gluten-free options for my special needs. And there's also a decent little Mexican joint on the north side of town that I've stopped at a few times. Staci, what are your ride to food choices?
What are my go-tos? So I think it's Red Lodge Brewery. That is one. I've been there a couple of times. Even if you don't drink, they have food. So that's always kind of my travel hack. If I'm going somewhere and I need food and maybe there's too many options to choose from, I'll probably choose the brewery because breweries have to have more than just beer in today's day and age to entice you to come in. So chances are they usually have pretty good food too. So I usually will go there. I've had breakfast in town. I've also totally eaten at the gas station, just a cup of ramen noodles. Whatever I've just passed through. I can't think of the name of it right now, but there is an Italian joint on that main strip through town. And I've had a lot of people recommend that to me, saying that it is just really authentic, really good Italian food. So if that's something you're typically looking for, I would definitely check that out. Red Lodge isn't very big, so I can't imagine there's another Italian joint on the main street through town.
I know where it is. I think it's right on the same block as Prerogative Kitchen too.
Yeah, there's also, man, what is it? I think it's the little red train or little red caboose. I feel like a lot of people stop at that too. It's kind of right there on the Rock Creek at the south end of town. And they've got kind of burgers and stuff. It's nothing too fancy, but I feel like a lot of people, I always see motorcycles kind of parked over there when I go through.
Yeah. Yeah. The brewery, I ate there last time I was there because my favorite spot had too much of a wait. So I went to the brewery and had this insane salad with all sorts of stuff and things on it. So definitely a good one. Sanna, did you guys eat at all when you were?
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys eat or did you not?
After that day, we were starving, and it was 8 p.m. by the time we rolled into town, and we were a mess, a hot mess. And we walked into this place called the One-Legged Magpie. It's kind of like a farm to table. I guess in 2011 it would have been called a gastropub. I don't know what you call those places anymore. But yeah, we sat down for dinner at past 8 p.m., which is usually my bedtime when I'm road tripping. But had a really, really good veggie gnocchi there that I would recommend if it's still on the menu. I also usually do the brewery hack. That's one of my go-tos too. As someone who doesn't eat meat, usually there's a veggie burger at least on almost every brewery menu. So maybe next time I'll try that place.
Nice. Yeah, and then Red Lodge Pizza Co. has the best ice cream. So I usually stop there for ice cream because they have a nice little buffet of ice cream there ready for the choosing. So I've never had the pizza there. They might do gluten-free, but I'm also sensitive to the tapioca that most people put in their gluten-free pizzas. So I'm super high maintenance. So I just go there for ice cream.
I mean, between the two of us, I'm usually the one with dietary restrictions, but you're slightly less than mine.
Yeah, hell of a trio here.
Yeah.
And what else is there? There's a lot of gift stores, so you can buy stickers. So you can buy your I got my ass over the pass sticker and your whatever else you saw along the way. Get your stickers. You can get, there's a bunch of outdoorsy stores too, so you can get fresh tie downs and meals in a bag and all that kind of fun stuff. Spikes for your tent, whatever you might need. Red Lodge probably has it. Hotels, campgrounds. Camped at a few different places in town, and I've stayed at a couple different hotels, and no bad experiences.
Every time I go to Red Lodge, I end up camping at Perry's RV Park, and it's on the south end of town. And especially during Sturgis, you'll see the whole front park, like lawn. Essentially, it's not really a parking lot. It's normally just a grass lawn, and it's just packed with people motorcycle camping. But it drops down, and it actually has like a whole campground area down there on Rock Creek. So you get to go to sleep with the sounds of the babbling brooks. But I will say that if you're new to this area of the country, there are grizzly bears. So, and there's black bears, but grizzly bears are more of the issue in this area. So you need to be bear aware and not have anything smelly in your tent that includes your deodorant, because they smell it and they're going to want to know what it is because they think it's a snack. So if you don't want to be a bearito in your tent, don't put anything smelly in it. But Perry's RV Park also has hot showers available and flush toilets. So for what it is, I don't even think it's $20 a night. It last time I camped there was pretty affordable, and it's been probably 2 or 3 years since I've been there. But it's one that I would highly recommend. I've stayed there 5 or 6 times now, and I've even stayed in one of their cabins, and those are also pretty affordable for what they are, even for one person traveling solo. So
Yeah. That's where I stayed last summer, was at Perry's, and I don't think I had full hookups in the RV, but I had power and water, and I think I paid like $45 a night, which is great because, everyone else wants 60. So
yeah.
that was nice.
You lost me at Grizzlies, but then you got me back with the cabins, so I'll consider it for next time.
Oh, jeepers. And then have you guys been to the Sinclair gas station on the south side of town recently? That place, I went in there last year, and they had the most insane selection of stuff and things I have seen in a while. Like exotic bags of chips from faraway lands and every different kind of probiotic soda pop and water and everything else. It was fucking crazy.
Did they have the Canadian ketchup Lay's
yeah,
chip?
ketchup, all dressed. They had them all. They had that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. I bought like 4 bags of chips, 19 protein bars, like a bunch of sparkly waters I've never heard of. And I was told the dude working there, I'm like, man, this place is insane. Like, where did you get all this stuff? He's like, oh, I don't know. My wife, she goes crazy. She orders all this stuff from all over the place. He's like, we had one of them influencer ladies in here the other day. She recorded one of them YouTube videos and was showing off to all her friends how much stuff we had here. I'm like, dude, you guys are legit the best gas station I've ever seen in this country. There's so many options.
I can't believe it, because I have been to that gas station. We got gas there at the end of our very, very long day, and it was again, a very long day. So it was the helmets on, don't go inside, just get the gas and keep moving. And as a snack fiend, I cannot believe I've missed out on the selection.
Yeah, you would have lost your mind. It's so good. So if anybody's anywhere close to Red Lodge, Montana, stop at the Sinclair gas station on the south side of town, and you'll have your pants blown right off. So good.
There's right behind that Sinclair, just to tie into some of the lodging options in town, there's a couple motels that, like, if you see that Sinclair, you can't miss them. I don't know the names off the top of my head, but those are probably the most well-known for motorcyclists. Anytime you go through town, especially around the Sturgis Rally, there is always bikes parked outside those particular motels. So if you Google it, you can find the names of those and possibly stay there.
Yeah, they're all very, very biker friendly, for sure. I met a couple of dudes at one of them, I think it was like 2016, and I'm still friends with them on the internet.
We love those kind of friendships.
I'm looking at my phone now to find out what kind of chips I got from this place. Some exotic Himalayan pink salt popcorn, churro flavored Ruffles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different kinds of bubbly water. 2, 4, 6, 7 protein bars, different varieties, and some dried mango slices.
Delightful.
Yeah, bone apple teeth. What a meal.
And I got my Red Lodge Montana stickers, my Beartooth Pass stickers.
I need to go back, obviously. I did it dumb. Did it the wrong way. We also hadn't booked anything because we didn't know how far we're taking. Like, that was an insane day. Like, were we even going to go over the pass? We didn't know. So we didn't even book lodging until we got to that Sinclair gas station. We ended up at just whatever motel has still had open rooms 4th of July weekend and was affordable enough for us. So I don't know what it was called. I don't know if I would recommend it. It was fine, you know.
Yeah. And the fact that you got a room on 4th of July weekend is pretty awesome. So for those listening, you don't have to worry about not being able to find a room because there's quite a bit of rooms in that town.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's hop on our bikes and head down south to the Beartooth Highway, shall we?
Let's
This
go.
is the official start of it here in Red Lodge. So we jump on, head south. You go through some grassy areas before you start climbing, and like we mentioned earlier, it's a pretty steep climb from Red Lodge up to the top of the pass. So starting in Red Lodge, you're about 5,500 feet, I believe, and fun smooth road that snakes through and starts climbing after a little bit through the valley. Once you get past a couple of the campgrounds that we mentioned, the climb starts pretty quickly after that. And as you climb up, the road is a little bit patchy in parts just because stuff falls off the steep cliffs and they have to patch it every now and then. And obviously it doesn't get plowed all winter. So when they go there in the spring, they clear it up, and I'm sure, stuff falls and they have to patch it up. So, keep your eyes peeled for bumps and rocks and whatever else might be in your way. So use caution. And then as you're climbing up, there's a bunch of different pullouts too. So some are small, some are bigger, but man, the terrain changes quickly from the trees and the rocks up to like the grassy kind of tundra plains, for lack of a better term. There's a bigger pullout once you get to the top of the zigzags, and then as you start kind of cruising around through the top there's a spot where the sign elevation 10945, whatever it is, always stop there for a photo. And there's a pretty big parking lot behind there where you can actually see the Beartooth Mountains, and the one that they're named after is the big sharp one that looks like a bear's tooth. So once you get to the top, it's pretty obvious how they got their name. But there's rest areas and stuff all the way. And then once you get to the top, there's good photo spots everywhere.
If you have the time when you're going up the Beartooth Pass, it's easier to get to when you're going down the pass. But there's the Rock Creek overlook, and it's almost towards the top. And you'll know you're there because there's little chipmunks everywhere that want to snack from you, but you shouldn't feed them. You have to restrain yourself. But if you walk out, you'll need some time to walk out onto this like cliff essentially, and there's a paved path out there, and it kind of overlooks the whole valley essentially. And when you get out to the very end, it's like Red Lodge is to your right, and then you kind of just look down this valley canyon to the left, and it's super pretty. But definitely, if you're not used to elevation, maybe skip that one because you're not going to be able to breathe, for lack of better words, especially if you're trying to make up for lost time. Essentially, like you're not going to have a pep in your step up there.
Yes.
But yeah, sea level sissies, do not stop. But I think that's just going to be a joke in this podcast from here on out. I love it. But
We should make merch.
yeah. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we talked about this sticker that Sanna found on the $1 Million Highway. So you'll have to go back and listen to that podcast and get the whole joke. But there is a sign when you get towards the top, like Davin was talking about, and it actually says like the bear's tooth. And if you look through that sign, it's kind of shaped like a football field goal, and you can actually see the bear's tooth back there. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of like good information placards up there too, so you can learn the history if you do have time to stop and read and look at stuff. And then once you get to the top, I always stop, get a picture by the sign, and then go over towards the edge and kind of look out towards the Beartooths again from there. It's a good spot, and especially if it's not, you don't have 90-mile-an-hour winds like you could have up there. And then once you get from that spot, it starts kind of going down the other side. But man, that whole area with the twists and turns going down is quite beautiful because you're above the tree line, a lot of rocks, the tundra grass is quite nice.
I think one of the coolest things about the Beartooth Highway is how much the landscape changes from the summit. So whether you are going south from the summit or you're going north from the summit, it's just a completely different world on which side of the pass you're on. So the north side, when you're up at the top, you're in that tundra landscape, and then you go down this gnarly valley into Red Lodge, and it's so pretty. There's nothing like it that I've ever ridden. And then if you go south from the pass and into Wyoming, there's just all these crazy rocks and lakes, and it's just the scenery is just otherworldly. Like I really can't think of another pass that has that drastic of a scenery change, which makes that ride just so spectacular. I've been told like, oh, have you ridden, going to the Sun Road and Glacier? And some people compare it to that with how insane it is, but I've actually never ridden that one. Maybe this summer.
That was the only thing I could think of is like going to the Sun doesn't have the fast changes that Beartooth does, but that side of it that you mentioned, going down the south side, looks like going to the Sun. That's the only other place I've seen on the planet that looks similar to that. So if anybody has been to one or not the other, to me, that's what it looks like. Would you think so, Sanna?
I agree with that. And I will say this as someone who like dreams of going to the Sun Road constantly. That is probably my favorite road in the entire country. It's so spectacular. It's so gorgeous. And Beartooth is like, especially that part of like when you're coming down towards Red Lodge, like you're starting at the summit essentially, and you're going down the switchbacks. It's so freaking beautiful. I like these roads are like very, very high up there, I think, and as far as like the best scenic roads in the country go. So, Staci, you have to go to Glacier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it this summer. We're just going to manifest it.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
it's insane. And I stole a quote from the internet that says it's an awesome windswept expanse of alpine tundra, glaciated canyons, and jewel-like lakes. And that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. I think you mentioned it's an all-American road, and I think it kind of makes sense to just talk a little bit about what makes a road an all-American road. And so we might have mentioned this a little bit before, but I think it's worth going over again because we're covering so many of these, and we're all, I think, to kind of check them all off our lists. So there are 184 national scenic byways in the U.S., and out of those 184, only 37 are designated all-American roads. And to be considered, to even have a chance at getting like a national scenic byway designation, which is designated by the Department of Transportation, you have to meet at least one of 6 criteria. And those criteria are archaeological, cultural, historic, natural, recreational, or scenic. But to be an all-American road, you have to meet 2 of those, and you also have to be the road has to be considered a destination unto itself, and it has to have one-of-a-kind features that don't exist anywhere else. And I think that is like a really good way to think about Beartooth Pass. It's a destination in itself. Like you don't have to go there to do something. You don't have to go there to like get to a hike or get to a viewpoint. You can literally just ride the road, and it is a destination in itself, like, which is what I did. I would love to stop the next time I did it, but just going through it, still so spectacular, still worth just doing it completely on its own.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it hits all the notes for what makes an all-American road an all-American road. I think it's like, cool, yep, just check all the boxes.
Yeah. It checks more than 2 of the criteria, I would say. It's
Yes,
for sure. Yeah. And that's like last year when I was doing it, it was literally just a detour on my cross country. I was going from Portland to Michigan, and I stopped for a day or 2 days actually, because I wanted to enjoy just that, and it's like one of the nice parts about it is there is no, you're far enough away from Yellowstone where you don't have to deal with all that national park traffic. So you can kind of zip in and out and have it to yourself a little bit, which is cool too. So if you just wanted to make a quick zip through there like Sanna did, you can get it done, scratch it off. But it's one of those things where you're going to want to go back for sure.
Yeah, I'm right now plotting a cross-country route for trying to make it to Acadia later this year, and I'm trying to figure out how I can squeeze in going to the Sun and Beartooth Pass, which is completely out of the way if I'm trying to go to Maine. But I'm just like, I'm going to be out there. I might as well try and ride.
Because otherwise you have to go across the bottom, and what's down there? Oklahoma.
Ugh. No, but you know what's in Oklahoma? Route 66. And
this is true, and we'll be talking about that soon, I've heard.
Yes, we will. And so there's that.
All right. So like Staci said, as long as you cruise over the pass, coming down the other side, it's a completely different animal. It looks completely different. Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, some parts of the Bighorns on the other side of the state look similar too. There's a couple of passes that you can cruise over on that side that are also quite ruly. But as you go down, as we mentioned before, the top of the world store is about 8 or 9 miles from the top. You'll pass babbling brooks and waterfalls and trees and all sorts of fun stuff along there. And The store is a great place to stop, take a whiz, grab some snacks, support local business because that is the only thing out there. So I don't think I've done that road and not stopped at the store. Staci, you like that spot too, right?
I've definitely stopped there for my friend to pee.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's all we need. It's a good place to have a wee.
Yeah, if you don't wanna, pull over on the side of the road somewhere and enjoy a better view, that's a good spot for it. So, I've never been inside. I stayed outside while my friend did what she needed to do, and I just kinda looked at some rocks. So
Yeah, it looks like everything else out there. It's made of wood. It's got very cabiny vibes, and it's a good place to stop and do your business.
yeah,
But
for sure.
yeah, as we cruise along, you get down to the other side of Cook City. I've only been to Cook City once, so I can't comment too much about it. I don't remember exactly what's there, but it's not much. I know there's just kind of the main drag, and there's the usual, coffee shop, diners, grocery store, a couple of restaurants.
Well, luckily, I've stopped there a lot. So
Okay,
I will
good.
I will gladly give y'all some tips on Cook City and Silvergate. So, um, I've ridden this part of the Beartooth Pass a few times where I've gone from Yellowstone over into Red Lodge and then vice versa, where I've done Red Lodge into Cook City. The nice thing, something to kind of enjoy as you're riding into Cook City is this view of Pilot's Peak, and it's this very sharp. I don't even know how to explain it. It was the background screensaver on my phone for years. But there's just this beautiful mountain as you're riding into Cook City that's technically in Yellowstone National Park, and it's so cool. So enjoy that while you're riding into Cook City. But as you get there, there is a gas station, so I would recommend filling up there. And there are a couple like little lodging options, nothing too fancy or crazy, but there are a couple places to eat. And there's two that I've eaten at a couple of times now. Beartooth Cafe, I've been there quite a few times. First time I was there was during COVID, so that was an interesting experience. But I've been back a few other times since, and there's always motorcycles parked outside that spot. So when you roll into town, that might be where you end up just naturally, because I feel like we are birds of a feather and flock together when we're picking spots out. If I see bikes parked outside of a restaurant, I will likely go there before I go somewhere else if I don't have an idea of where to eat. But last time I went through Cook City, I actually stopped at a spot called Wuka's Wild Eats. It's kind of a tongue twister, but those tacos, oh my God. I know you're a taco fiend, Davin. This spot needs to be like on your list next time you go through there. It was so good. I wasn't expecting to find tacos that good in the middle of nowhere, but especially Montana. Like, let's just be honest about it. I wouldn't go to Montana thinking the taco scene's going to be out of this world, but they knocked it out of the park. It was good. A little pricey because you are in the middle of nowhere and you do have to, consider the cost that it takes to get ingredients and everything else into that town, but it was delicious. 10 out of 10 would recommend stopping there again. There's another spot in Silvergate, which is another town like just a few miles south of Cook City, because these used to be like little mining towns, which is why they exist. I don't know. Some people are probably like, oh, they're just there. And it's like, no, it's because people used to mine for stuff out there. And
It's because people used to live there.
yeah, people just decided to randomly set up shop in the middle of nowhere. No, they're old mining towns. And so Silvergate is even smaller than Cook City. And there's a spot right on the west end of town called the Log Cabin. And I know a lot of people like to stop there for their trout dishes. Trout is something that's really common to eat in that area. I usually don't eat that, but it's a thing. So I've also heard they have good breakfast. I feel like any place that's called like Log Cabin Cafe or Log Cabin Inn or something, their food's just going to slap. Like, I've never been disappointed by a spot that has a name like that.
Seriously.
So yeah, those are kind of my food recs.
Yeah, I will look out for the tacos too. As someone who lives literally 15 minutes from the Mexican border, I don't usually order tacos like in Montana, but but I will maybe consider it next time I'm there.
Yeah.
Give it a
I
shot.
will say the time that I waited for food was a little long. It was in early August on my way to Sturgis, so busy season out there, and there's just not a lot of food options, so some places will get a bit busy, but I want to say I waited like 30 or 45 minutes, but also I was a little malnourished. I hadn't eaten enough that day, and so by the time I got there, I was like, I'm not leaving till I eat. Like, I physically can't. I need to eat something.
Yeah.
So it was worth the wait. either way. I would totally wait at 30, 45 minutes again, assuming I had the time is the thing. If you're trying to, chase the sun over the pass into Red Lodge, you might just want to eat a snack at the gas station and go. But yeah, if you have time, I'd recommend it.
This is why I'm always carrying a sandwich with me, because you never know when you're going to need an emergency sandwich. It happens quite a bit, and I'll just find a pretty rock to eat it on, and then I'm golden.
Love it.
Yeah, when it's time, it's time. Okay, well, that's good to know. And also, yeah, if it does take time to get your food and you're middle of nowhere, just be nice, okay? Like, don't be a dick to the servers, and don't be, an idiot about it, because
they're doing their best.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're doing what we can. Jeez.
For sure. And that you could tell as two dudes, they were overloaded. There was families from Yellowstone coming in with their 5 booger picking kids that all want 20 different tacos. They were doing their best with the amount of people they were trying to serve. And I'm not sure, and things could change. Maybe it's a small town, so maybe they typically have 3 people working. Maybe, dude number 3 got sick and there was just one dude back there cooking that day. You just never know. So yeah, be nice.
Yeah. Yeah, in small town America, when one person calls out, it screws up the whole operation. So be nice. But anyways, yeah, if you're cruising down the pass and the highway and you don't need to go to Cook City or aren't planning on going to Cook City or to Yellowstone in that entrance, you can take a left on Wyoming Highway 296, and that is Chief Joseph Highway. And man, oh man, do I love that road. I think it's like a 10 or 11 miles past the top of the world store. Hook a left. There's usually construction going on in that first part. So be patient. And man, Chief Joseph Scenic Highway. This is not an all-American road, but it is a scenic byway. So it might only meet, 6 of the 7 check boxes to become a friggin' awesome road. But man, I love it. It's got the views. It's got the good pavement. It's got elevation changes. I believe it's a yellow on Rever, so that's the top, as good as it gets as far as all those ratings. There's a bunch of cool stuff to stop. I shouldn't say a bunch. There's a few cool things to stop and look at, but my favorite being the Big Tall Bridge, which is called, let me check my notes because I forgot. The Sunlight Bridge is the highest in Wyoming, according to my research. It spans the crevasse over Sunlight Creek. You are 285 feet up, I think. So it's a pretty big drop. And I've got probably 100 videos in my phone of like panning from top to bottom and bottom to top and doing all the stuff there. So that's a cool little spot. There's a parking lot with bathrooms on one side of it. So usually you kind of come down through some twisties and park there, walk across the bridge. There's always bikes and stuff there too. And then from that point on is where the racetrack begins again. So bombing that up from Cody or bombing it down from up there is fun either way. So
are the views better in any of those directions?
The views might be better coming down into Cody because you can see like the big expanse over the Cody zone. But coming up, you get to see all the stuff out towards Yellowstone and Beartooth also. So,
because it's it's a little bit of a double-edged sword when it's a really fun road that you just want to go ripping on, but then the views are so good that you have to somehow balance paying attention to the road with also taking in the views, which is, I think, an issue on Beartooth Pass because it's so freaking gorgeous. But there's also like technical writing. Like that road is not for beginners.
No. And I think with that being said is Beartooth is the one where you look at things and Chief Joseph is when you let her rip.
Okay.
Because it's still beautiful, but you're in the Western United States, so everything's beautiful. So yeah.
I agree. I feel like I rip a little harder over Chief Joseph, and I also think it's because the pavement is better. There's less tar snakes and other issues or rocks on the road.
Less traffic. Yeah.
And if I know we've talked about weather and stuff, but again, if it rains or anything, just expect there to be new rocks on the road because rockfall's just imminent. So, but yeah, Beartooth is one that I kind of cruise down and just enjoy the insane views. And then when I hit Chief Joseph, it's time to have a little fun. So
let her eat, as they say. Yeah, I saw a couple, and then there's wildlife also. I saw 2 mooses last time I was cruising through there, which is great. So everyone loves a meese.
I
Uh,
love a meese.
yeah, so it's a good spot for sure. And then as you cruise down and get into towards Cody, you don't actually get into the city. You get to the bottom, hook a left, you can head back up towards Montana and you can cruise back to Red Lodge from that side if you want to, or you can choose your own adventure, go to Cody and then head into Yellowstone from that direction that Sanna was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I think when you consider Cody and Red Lodge as hubs, essentially, of where you want to ride, I have totally spent a full day going from Cody to Red Lodge. It is totally possible to putt around in that area, even though it only takes a handful of hours if you just ride straight through. There's enough to see and do in each town. I would say if you're someone who likes to travel on a budget, Red Lodge is going to be the better budget-friendly town between Cody and Red Lodge. You're just going to find more affordable lodging, more than likely. Cody is one of the gateway towns to Yellowstone, so it's just naturally more expensive. There is a ton of stuff to see, eat, and do there, but it does come at a little bit of an extra cost. So I would recommend checking out Cody, though. If, let's say you do what I just said, you ride from Red Lodge, maybe you do go over to Cook City and then come over Chief Joseph Highway and you decide you want to check out Cody. It's a cool little Western town. They totally play into that Wyoming culture of the Wild West. And there's a few things to see and do there. The Buffalo Bills Center of the West is something that's come highly recommended to me by a lot of people. If you're into museums, I've heard that's one that's totally worth checking out. So I've never been in there, but I heard it's really cool. So that's like at the top of my list of things to do in Cody. And I've had I've had some blurry nights in Cody. There's some bars there. I did the Devilstone run that Go Fast Don't Die puts on, and those stories will stay in the Devilstone run.
I've heard of those stories, so they did not stay. I've heard of riding in the back of trucks with several, like a dozen people getting back to wherever you guys were going, and oh my god.
Yeah, I have some blurry photos.
Yeah,
Just some random dudes. So this part of the evening I do remember. We all got a ride into town. We all left the motorcycles parked at the campground we were at. We were responsible. But some of our friends decided that we were just going to do 1 tequila, 2 tequila, 3 tequila, however many shots until I didn't know my name anymore.
Right.
And I used to be one of the greats. I don't party this hard anymore, but the hangovers are just too bad. But anyway, we are raging at whatever bar this is. I think it's like the Cowboy Bar in Cody. And next thing I know, we are all in some random kid's truck going back to this campground. Like we just flagged down some local Cody kid and was like, "You can get us to this campground, right?" And so we all just piled in. And he was like, "Okay, cool. Whatever you drunk motorcyclist want."
That's so funny.
Yeah. And then we just continued partying, and then my head hurt the next day. That's one thing I do remember.
I don't remember who told me that story, but I don't think it was you. So somebody, yeah, it was Patrick or somebody.
It was probably Patrick, because Patrick's the one who paid for those tequila shots.
Oh my god, yeah. And then he was like talking about paying this dude to take him, and he had some like older cougar with him or something. Like the kid had some some questionable decisions.
Just
so funny.
Real biker shit,
I love it.
I partied hard in Cody too. I was there on a solo trip. I hadn't had a drop of alcohol in probably months, and I got to Cody and I'm like, you know what? I deserve a glass of wine. And I had 1 glass of wine with dinner. So
I passed out.
Pretty much same as your story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Identical.
Yeah. Me 3. I went through there and had a 4-shot espresso. And kept going. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of dudes playing cowboy in that town. So
there is like a weekly rodeo night. So if you are into cowboy shit or you just want to experience cowboy shit, I would highly recommend it. It's like a known thing that tourists go to out there as well. So it's always packed, and I want to say it's weekly. Like once a week they do the rodeo out there. So
it's
kind of cool.
Good stuff. Yeah, I stopped in there one of the last times I went through and went to the steakhouse that everyone recommended, and it was disgusting. So maybe I'll try again.
I've never had anything in Cody that I've eaten that was like notable where I'm
Yeah.
chasing that food high like Wuka's Wild Eats.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's kind of the same with West Yellowstone. I feel like when you get into those towns that are gateway towns to national parks, it's
Yeah.
a little harder to find like food that just makes you want to go back just to eat there, you
Food
know?
that tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to find food because there's so many restaurants because it's
Right.
all, they're so touristy, these towns. But yeah, it's like kind of usually overpriced and under-seasoned.
Yeah. Exactly.
Under-seasoned, I love that, yes. Overpriced and under-seasoned. Perfect review.
But it's the price you pay to wake up really close to a national park.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I'll do it again and again.
Yes.
Goodness.
I mean, I would love to go back to Cody, honestly, because I need to do Chief Joseph Highway. And then that road that goes straight into Yellowstone from Cody, it's so gorgeous. I really need to go back and do that again too.
And if you like to suffer in a tent too, there's a bunch of really good, like Wapiti or Wapiti campground is right there. And there's a few different ones along that stretch that are pretty decent.
Yeah, there's lots of good camping in that area, many of which have pit toilets because they're ran by the U.S. Forest Service. So they have a little bit of stuff for you. There is plenty of dispersed camping out in that area. But again, you just have to be bear aware and just know what you're getting yourself into. And grizzly bears are very common. So
there's also a bison. I don't know if they ever interact with campsites because I don't camp, but I have seen plenty of wild bison, just not even inside the national park boundaries, but just like strolling along the highway coming out of Cody.
The bison will go all the way to Cook City, from what I've been told. One of the times I was in Red Lodge, I was talking with a local at a cafe, and I just think grizzly bears are so cool. And I'm like, I'm going to be a tourist and talk your ear off about grizzly bears. Like, do you see them in town? Do you like know which one's which? Because for a long time, there was one in the Grand Tetons that was Grizzly Bear 399. And I used to follow that bear on Instagram. And so I'm really into the bears. Okay. So he's like, yeah, bears are cool, but let me tell you about bison. And so he was telling me about Cook City because he's a musician and he plays in all the little towns around there. And he was like, the bison will just roll through town and they don't care what you're doing. So they definitely leave the park boundary. So there are a handful of different campgrounds near Cook City, Silvergate that you can camp in. And so I'm sure they get bison here and there.
It's cool. I don't want to get too close to them, but they're pretty interesting.
Do not pet the fluffy cows.
You'll end up on tour-ons of Yellowstone, and I will watch it 20 times.
Point and laugh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, side quest wise, I have a few of those on my list too, most of which we've already talked about, which is Yellowstone National Park. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, but it's a little park on the corner of the state over there that a lot of people go to, and there's a lot of beautiful things, and there's some hot geyser action, some wildlife, some water features.
When you said hot geyser action, I thought I just heard hot guys, and I'm like, there are hot guys in Yellowstone? I guess I should.
Hot guys action? Yeah. Rangers, hello.
Okay, man in uniform.
Yeah.
You know what else is in Yellowstone? And I'm surprised neither of you have mentioned this yet in this podcast.
What?
Ice cream.
Yes, I've had it.
There is Yellowstone National Park is like known for this ice cream that they have for what they work with. Oh man, I can't think of the name of it, but it is a Montana-based ice cream company. I believe their headquarters is in Billings. But so all their stuff is like locally sourced ice cream, and they do have a huckleberry one. I've had a few different flavors, but if they have huckleberry available, you have to get it. That's such a Montana thing to do. And everyone on this podcast is an ice cream fiend. So I would recommend going to the Gardner Visitor Center to get that ice cream, or the Old Faithful Visitor Center. Those two are pretty big. I want to say there's also one over by the falls. I can't think of what that visitor center is called right now. The
Canyon Village one. I think that's
Canyon Village.
Yeah.
That one's pretty big too, but I can't remember if they have the ice cream. But I've eaten ice cream at the other two, so I can confirm those.
I think they do have the ice cream there.
And I believe that ice cream is the same brand they have at Red Lodge Pizza Co. So you can book into your days with ice cream if you'd like. Okay, and then let's see. We've got Highway 78 coming from I-80 in Columbus to US 212 in Red Lodge is a fun road if you're coming from that direction. Heading east, I mentioned the Bighorn Mountains, which are a real fun one to ride over to. Take Highway 14 or 14A over one pass, I believe, and it's 16 over the other. Have either of you guys done those?
I've done 14 from Gray Bull through Shell and then over the Bighorns. And then I've also done Highway 16, which starts at Tin Sleep and then goes over. And I want to say it ends in Buffalo.
Yep.
Yep. So I've done those two. And if you somehow have the time to do both, I would recommend doing them both because once again, the landscape's just completely different. And it's a completely different ride. Like the rocks. It's all about the rocks.
Yeah. Man, did we love a sharp rock over here. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I haven't done those. I haven't been really to that side of Wyoming, other than like southern Wyoming, which the southeastern part of Wyoming is just not very exciting. It's just kind of flat, but
Yep. And hot, windy.
Yeah, but northeastern Wyoming, I haven't spent a lot of time in, and I think I need to. For sure.
I think the Bighorns are one of the underrated spots of the West. Not a lot of people talk about them, and both of those passes, 14, 14A, and 16, are both real nice.
I agree. I definitely think that they are underrated and not talked about enough.
Yeah, so definitely do the damn thing when you're going over there. Get off the interstate, go and look at some stuff because those are both awesome. So
the interstate's up there. I don't know about Wyoming, but at least in Montana, a good thing about the interstate, if you have somewhere to be, is that
the speed limit is 200.
I was going to say 80, but you wrapped it up to 200. Go fast.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. So yeah, you can. I mean, one of the times I left from, I think it was the second year of the Get on ADV Fest in Sturgis. My buddy and I almost did a 1K in a day on accident because we were going so fast out of Sturgis and then across Montana on these, even the back roads you can do 80 on a 2-laner. And we got to somewhere in Washington that night. And I'm like, dude, we just did 972 miles. If we were planning better, we would have done a 1K in a day, but we're done. So that was the most I've ever done on accident.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's impressive. Good for you guys.
Yeah, that was stupid. I don't know how we did it, but we did. And then, I got there's a thing called the Smith Mine Disaster. So if you're heading east on Wyoming 308 out of Red Lodge, this is if you're at the Sinclair gas station, instead of going south, you go east on that road at the little intersection there. And a few miles out of town, you'll reach the remnants of the old Smith mine. So if you've ridden through there, you've probably noticed these buildings on the hillside and the windswept grasses and on the north side of the street. And those, back in February of 1947, there was a methane explosion 7,000 feet below the entrance that killed 74 of the 77 men that were in there that day. And they were so far down that most of the people in the surrounding town, I believe it's called Bear Creek, didn't know anything happened until those 3 dudes walked out and went for help. And basically after that, they just shut her down because it was too dangerous to do anything. The whole, I don't even know if they got the bodies out of that hole, but pretty gnarly. And one of the biggest mining disasters in that area, if not the history of the country. So definitely, if you're cruising through there, stop and give them a little, pour one out for the homies that ain't with us no more.
I didn't know about that. That's a very interesting one. I know Montana has a lot of mining history that I guess you can kind of overlook if you're maybe not from there. There's Butte and there's some mining disaster stuff that's happened in Butte as well. And then the Bitterroot Valley has a bunch of that stuff. And then Anaconda has that giant smelter that it's all it's very fascinating. This stuff, I enjoy this kind of history. I mean, it's sad history, but it's very interesting.
For sure. And the Butte, you brought that up. There's that friggin' water hole there that's got the most poisonous liquid on the planet, I think, and it's still just sitting there,
Yep.
So it's it could get real bad real quick.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Don't drink the purple water.
Don't drink the purple water and don't pet the fluffy cows.
Yes. Those are the 2 things. If you bring anything from this podcast today, is those 2 things right there. So you are welcome.
And stop for ice cream in Yellowstone.
Stop for ice cream everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
Any other side quests that you guys know about that I maybe didn't cover?
Everyone just needs to go ride the Beartooth Highway, in my opinion. And because if you haven't, you're missing out. And it is just so sick. One thing we didn't talk about is that there is the Beartooth Rally.
Oh, yes.
So I want to say it's in July every year. It's right before Sturgis, but that's a big time for motorcyclists to go through that area. So if you happen to be planning a trip and you're wondering, why are there so many bikes out here, July 17th, it might be because there's a rally going on.
Because it's my birthday?
It's your birthday?
Yeah. Yeah, July 17th is my birthday. Yeah, here we go. The 32nd annual Beartooth Rally and Iron Horse Rodeo, scheduled for July 16th through 19th, 2026 in Red Lodge, Montana.
Look, they're throwing you a birthday party.
Man, too bad I can't make it. I'll be cranking ADV hogs with my brothers in the Black Hills.
Well, yeah, they're throwing you a birthday party over there, too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be at your party.
Okay, good. I just noticed there's another dirt bike rally up in Butte or something that same weekend. So there's all sorts of shit going on for you hog crankers of different varieties that weekend.
A lot of events for me to stay away from because I ride specifically to get away from people.
Right. Okay, well, that's it for today, you guys. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd really love you if you could rate and review us and subscribe, because that's what matters. Also, follow The Scenic Ride on all the socials. Check out thescenicride.com for previous episodes, merch, sign up for our newsletter. Next time, Sanna will be talking about another really epic motorcycle road, Route 66. So make sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. Until then, enjoy the ride. Woo!
The Scenic Ride is hosted by Staci Wilt, Davin Ortonen, and me, Sanna Bowman. Our theme music is by Ryan Sin. If you like the show, please rate and review it and tell your friends to listen. For all the latest updates, follow @The Scenic Ride on Instagram or visit thescenicride.com. Thanks for listening.